Welcome once again to a brand new and exciting episode of Coffee and Bolters, our beloved show. Well, not long ago, we brought to the studio a video about the Deathwatch. And now, considering that the new Kill Team box featuring the Deathwatch and the Necrons is already up for pre-order, well, we're going to make a slightly more in-depth video about what the Deathwatch is, who they're connected to, and the most important battles the Deathwatch has fought. Although remember, the most important battle is always the one you play at home, and also the legendary characters that the Deathwatch has. As an introduction, the Deathwatch is one of the most enigmatic and prestigious organizations in the Imperium. Its existence lies somewhere between absolute secrecy and a legend shared among the Space Marine chapters. It is the chamber militant of the Ordo Xenos, one of the three major branches of the Inquisition. Its mission is clear: the hunt, study, and eradication of any alien threat that stands in humanity's way. Where the Astartes chapters fight in the name of the Emperor and out of duty to the galaxy, the Deathwatch battles with a much more specific purpose: to protect the human species from alien races such as the Tyranids, Orcs, Eldar, Necrons, or any other form of hostile non-human life. What makes the Deathwatch unique is its composition. It is not a conventional chapter. Instead of recruiting and raising its own warriors, the Deathwatch receives Astartes, who are temporarily seconded from their original chapters. These warriors are selected from among the best of their lineage, often recommended by their captains or directly requested by the Inquisition. Once accepted, they serve under the oath of the Long Vigil, leaving behind their chapter's colors and donning the black armor of the Deathwatch. The image is unmistakable: black power armor with silver left pauldrons, symbolizing their unity, and on the right pauldron, the emblem of their original chapter. This detail is fundamental, as it serves as a reminder that although they are now part of a joint force, they have not lost the identity of their lineages. Service in the Deathwatch is not eternal. Some Marines return to their chapter after completing a mission, bringing with them unparalleled experience and knowledge about the Xenos races. Others, however, choose to remain indefinitely, dedicating the rest of their existence to the crusade against the enemies of humanity. The structure of the Deathwatch is organized into fortresses scattered throughout the galaxy. The most well-known is Watch Fortress Eriok, located on the eastern fringe. From these bastions, the Inquisition coordinates the kill teams, which are deployed with surgical precision. Each kill team is made up of Marines from different chapters, which creates a unique combination of skills, combat styles, and doctrines. This diversity, which in any other circumstance would be a source of conflict, becomes the greatest strength of the Deathwatch. The squads operate with an unusual level of autonomy, even by Astartes standards. Their missions are usually swift, lethal, and decisive. At times, they act as scouts, gathering information about new threats, Xenos. At other times, they carry out total extermination operations, wiping out entire Orc colonies or destroying Tyranid ships and swarms before they can multiply. Training within the Deathwatch is equally unique. The Astartes must learn to fight in ways that transcend the teachings of their chapters. They study alien tactics, dissect captured creatures, and master specialized weaponry designed to maximize lethality against each type of enemy. The Bolter, the iconic weapon of the Space Marine, takes on its most versatile form here. The Deathwatch Bolter, with specialized ammunition ranging from anti-personnel fragmentation rounds to penetrating rounds capable of piercing Tyranid carapaces or advanced Xenos armor. The symbolism of the Deathwatch is as powerful as its effectiveness. It represents the union of all Astartes chapters in a common cause. It doesn't matter if a Marine comes from the Ultramarines, the Space Wolves, the Blood Angels, or any other chapter. In the hands of the Deathwatch, they fight as brothers, setting aside ancient rivalries to fulfill a higher duty. Throughout history, the Deathwatch has faced titanic campaigns against the horrors of the galaxy. In many cases, the very existence of Imperial worlds has depended on the silent and effective actions of these squads. And yet, for most Imperial citizens, their name is unknown. Perhaps it's better that way, because the Deathwatch seeks neither glory nor recognition. Their only reward is to fulfill the duty imposed by the Inquisition and to protect humanity from enemies they will never even know exist. In the dark vastness of the 41st millennium, while aliens lurk in every corner of the galaxy, the Deathwatch remains ever vigilant. And when the threat reveals itself, they descend like an unrelenting hammer to remind the universe that humanity will not be defeated. Alright, now let's move on to the memora, to memorable battles of the Deathwatch. The Deathwatch has fought countless battles in the darkest corners of the galaxy. Many of these operations will never be known by the Imperium, nor celebrated, nor recorded in official chronicles. Nevertheless, some battles have gone down in the organization's history as true examples of heroism, sacrifice, and lethal efficiency. One of the most legendary campaigns was the defense of Eriok Fortress, which we've already talked about before. About it during the Tyrannid incursion on the Eastern Fringe. Faced with the relentless advance of a minor hive fleet, a small Deathwatch force held the line long enough for the Inquisition to deploy Imperial reinforcements. Reports speak of extermination squads fighting against endless waves, adapting their ammunition and tactics within minutes. Although the fortress held, the casualties were devastating. That day proved that not even the Tyrannids could break the will of the Long Vigil. Another famous operation is known as the Castiamar Massacre. On this world, the Orcs had managed to build a space fortress that threatened critical supply routes in the Sentimentus Tempestus. Instead of launching a large-scale planetary invasion, the Deathwatch sent several kill teams that infiltrated the enemy structure. With surgical precision, they destroyed the energy reactors and the Orc chain of command. The resulting explosion annihilated tens of thousands of greenskins. An operation that would have required years of conventional warfare was resolved in a matter of days thanks to the intervention of the Deathwatch. Each of these battles demonstrates the essence of the Deathwatch: precision, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to the survival of humanity. While the Astartes chapters fight for the glory of their legions, the Deathwatch battles in silence, without honors or parades. In the 41st millennium, where every dawn may bring a new alien threat, the victories of the Deathwatch are not celebrated, but they are essential. Without them, countless Imperial worlds would have fallen into oblivion, devoured by Xenos or enslaved by ancient races. The Deathwatch does not fight to be remembered. It fights because without its eternal vigilance, the Imperium would have already succumbed to darkness. Now let's talk about the legendary heroes of the Deathwatch. There are several, but here are a few. Over the millennia, the Deathwatch has counted on exceptional warriors. Although, because of its secretive nature, many of their names have been lost, some Astartes have managed to leave an indelible mark on the history of this Black and Silver Brotherhood. One of the most renowned is Ortan Cassius, chaplain of the Ultramarines. During the devastating Tyrannid invasion of Behemoth, which took place on Macragge, Cassius swore that he would dedicate his life to fighting the Hive. Gravely wounded, he survived thanks to his iron will and unshakable faith in the Emperor. After his recovery, he agreed to serve in the Deathwatch, becoming a living symbol of resilience and relentless hatred toward the Xenos. As a chaplain, Cassius not only leads in battle, but also inspires his brothers, instilling courage even in the darkest moments. His time with the Deathwatch elevated his legend and made him one of the most respected warriors among all the chapters. Another renowned hero is Captain Artemis. This warrior, whose origins lie with the Mortificators, is perhaps the most iconic face of the Deathwatch, as he was originally created for the game Inquisitor, a role-playing game by Games Workshop about 20 years ago. Artemis was recruited by the Inquisition after an exemplary career, and soon proved to be an unparalleled leader in the fight against aliens. His campaigns against the Orcs and Tyrannids are among the most successful in the organization. He is remembered not only for his skill in combat, but also for his ability to unite Marines from chapters with rival traditions, making them function as a single war machine. Each of these names shows that the Deathwatch is not only an elite force, but also a brotherhood forged in sacrifice and unity. What sets its heroes apart is not only their skill in combat, but their ability to transcend the legacy of their original chapters and fight for a common goal. In a future where the galaxy is drowning in Xenos threats, the memory of these heroes inspires new generations of Astartes. Because the Deathwatch is not just an organization, it is a perpetual flame burning in the darkness, sustained by the sacrifices of those who chose to walk the path of eternal vigilance. We remind you that at Dea Studio, besides making videos, we mainly paint. And you have a whole range of videos on how to paint miniatures, how to paint Marines, and also PDF guides to help you paint your Marines. And very soon, we will bring forth the Deathwatch indeed.